Today I'm just drinking some generic instant green tea because that's what I was craving today. And today I'm gonna talk about something that I'm really bad at doing in my videos, but I think is super important to do, and that's providing either trigger warnings, content warnings for books. I wish I was better at it, and I'm working on that, but I'm not. Honestly, in my ideal world, books would include like a content warning the way that like a movie does. When you watch a movie on TV, it comes up like mature and strong language, violence, whatever. I wish books had that, but they don't. And I'm trying to get better about talking about potentially triggering content when it comes up in the books that I'm talking about, but I'm not very good at it. So I'm going to work to get better at that, if not in the videos themselves, then at least in the description of my videos. But if I don't, or if there's a specific trigger you have that I don't mention that you're curious about or things like that, I want to provide to you some resources that I think can help you, give you something to look at as a potential way of determining if something you're interested in reading might be triggering for you. I'm gonna try recording my screen while we do this to share things to you, and we'll see how that goes. So the first one is one you may have heard of before. It's doesthedogdie.com. So this started, as the name implies, as a website. I think it started actually as a Twitter, where somebody would just like, if they watched a movie, would just give a review if the dog dies or not. And then it kind of grew from there. And it's this big crowdsourced resource available for any sort of possibly potentially triggering content in primarily movies. If you look at the things they have by far more movies than anything else. But they also have TV shows, books, video games, manga, comics, much more than just that. And this is a wonderful resource. So you can look at things by category. So if we go to that one, they have a lot of them. Obviously, A Dog Dies is their top one, but you can go through these. And if you have an account, if there's something that's triggering to you, you can bookmark it. So if you had an account, you could pin it, and when you go in and you're looking up content, it'll be at the top of the list. I also like this one, has a lot of information. So it has like this one, the National Suicide Prevention Line there, or there's things about why is certain things might be triggering to people. What is misgendering? This is one of the ones that came up. So that's just really interesting to me. I think it's a really great resource. But if you go, you can also request a new category if there's something that you would like to know if it exists in it, and they didn't already have that category. You can request it and they'll start including it. And they have just about everything. So the book I'm reading right now, we'll use that as an example. Little Fires Everywhere. So they have the TV show. So they don't have the book for this. And this is one of the limits of this, is that it's not for books in the beginning. But I could look at the movie and maybe get a good idea from that, like what it might have. And if I had an account and I was signed in and I had saved some things, some of this would be at the top specific to it. Oh, this one doesn't have any votes, probably because it's a brand new movie. Let's try one that I checked earlier that I know. 1984. So if we look at like that book for 1984, and we scroll through this, it has it in here, and you can vote. And so this one says, you know, does the dog die? 0 people said yes, 3 people said no. And you can go through, and that's way if there's something people maybe have disagreed on, you might see something different. There was one I noticed here that somebody left a comment because there was a disagreement where 2 people said yes, 1 person said no. There's like a comment here that specifies a bit of a spoiler for what it is, but also just gives you more context if you're interested in it. So that's the one I think would recommend the most. It's not geared specifically towards books, but it has a lot of books, and it has a huge amount of possibilities, different categories, a lot of content warnings. The other one that is a really, really good movie and TV resource, but unfortunately is not used for books at all, is Unconsenting Media. So if you go to unconsentingmedia.org, it is specifically for sexual assault, sexual harassment, rape in TVs and movies. So this is very specific to a very specific thing, but if it's something that is triggering to you, it might be really useful. And what I like about this one is that I'm just going to go to the browse real here quick so you can see. It gives everything a color rating, a green, a yellow, or a red, where green is something that doesn't have any. If I click on this for 12 Angry Men, it'll come up with these categories, and they have these different categories, and it'll have them checked off. But this is a green, so that means there's no rape or sexual assault in the whole thing. However, if we look at something that's a yellow, it has some things, but not a lot. So this one has, rape and sexual assault are mentioned, discussed, or implied, but it's not anything explicit, so that's why it has a yellow. And then some of them, I'll go to 13 Reasons Why, because that's what I was looking at earlier. If we go on 13 Reasons Why here, it has all of the things checked off if you don't want details, but if you're still interested in watching the show, but you don't want to submit yourself to certain content, you can go down here to the description where it says specifically what is happening in what episode, so you could maybe narrow it down. Again, this is only for TV and movies. Maybe you can look at it and find the adaptation of a book you've read or you want to read, but I also just think it's a really good resource to know. So those two are two really good resources that have been developed. But I found two blogs, that are also keeping track of specifically books. So the one is World Wonders. It's Fadwa. I hope I'm pronouncing her name right. So I'm going to link in the description, and of course everything I'm talking about will be linked in the description. But I'm going to link to this post of hers on why I made a trigger warnings database. And this is just a really, really great blog to read because it talks about what are trigger warnings, why are they important, why you should have them. If I can learn how to scroll. But then she has down here, this is about her trigger warning master list. So she has this one link, which is specifically, when it loads, this is so you can submit something. So if you're checking out her database and you found a book that wasn't there that you've read, or you found a book that was there but you see something is wrong, you can submit a change. This is a form so you can submit, this is a book, the author, and what content warnings you think it should have. And then she also has the database itself. So it is arranged two different ways. So she has her explanation again on the first page that it will come up to when you open the thing. But along the bottom, for the different pages of the form, which are arranged by different triggers. You can't see that on my screen because I have it cut off. But then she also just has her database. So if there's something specific you want to check, you can check by that, by the specific content like illnesses and disabilities. Or you can just go to the full database. And this is arranged by number, or by alphabetical. But I could do the same thing, just do Control F, or if you're on Apple products, Command F, and look something up. Little fires everywhere, and you'll see it comes up with content warnings here. Arson, death of a sibling, microaggressions, and abortion. I did not know the abortion one. That'll be interesting. So that one's good, and her blog anyway has been updated since May 2020, so I assume she's still keeping her database up to date. So new things are being added. And the other one that I think isn't quite as good, but it has a different variety, is Lauren Hanna has a blog. She has a blog post. It's called her book trigger list. And this one is, she has here, this is the content that she might be doing. And then her list is arranged alphabetically by author's last name, which is a little confusing. But again, you could still do that same thing. Control find, little fires everywhere, and she has the same trigger warnings as somebody else, but you can see that she has it arranged by alphabet of the author's last name. So those are some resources that I found. This was just in an afternoon of Googling, seeing what I could find. A lot of people recommended asking on Goodreads, but I realized that's not something most people are necessarily going to be comfortable doing because, you know, nobody wants to publicly announce their triggers to everyone. So if you can't find what you want on any of these resources, if you've seen that I've read a book, feel free to reach out and message me and ask me if it has something in it. I promise I won't judge. I don't care. I just want to help you. So you can find us on Twitter or Instagram at PodAnother. I would recommend Instagram if you can, just because my brother also uses the Twitter, whereas I'm the only one that uses the Instagram. But if you reach out to me on Twitter, if you just start with "This is for Jesse," it'll get to me instead of him. So I'm more than happy to help you with that. But also, if anybody out there has other resources, please leave them in the comments below. Help each other out. If there's something you use specifically for finding out about your triggers, or you think has been a really good resource for you with even just content that kind of squicks you, it doesn't have to be a trigger necessarily, leave it in the description or leave it in the comments below so that other people can use it and find out and keep themselves safe. All right, bye. Popping in here quick, I've been trying to think of something I can do, I can use my platform to do to help with everything happening. I've seen a lot of YouTubers doing things like donating their AdSense money or donating their sponsorship money, things like that, but we don't have any of that. And then I saw EHR is doing, if you send them like a picture that you've donated, they'll send you a sticker, and I figured that's something I can do. I like crafting, I like doing embroidery and things, and so I'll leave a document in the description that you can look and find more information about what I'm doing. But basically, if you send us a picture of a receipt on Twitter or Instagram with just to show that you've donated to support, you know, one of the Black Lives Matter movements, one of the insurance companies that are helping out, bail money, whatever you can do to help, I will mail you a little embroidery gift. So just check out that doc. It'll tell you what information I need from you, okay? It's a crazy world, and we all have to support each other right now.